Senator Cadell.
Thank you, Acting Deputy President. A lot of debate today about housing, all about around the housing issue, and we're talking about the funding of the purchase side, the demand side. But what we're really talking about when we get to this is the relative advantage of different purchases, because we're only talking about one side of the housing equation, not supply. And Acting Deputy President will know that when I first came down here and was looking for somewhere to stay, we got into a bidding war with each other on a property we didn't know we were bidding against one another on there. And that's what gets down to on the purchase side. But let's talk about the supply side. Because in this chamber, in state chambers, in local government chambers around Australia, property developer is an evil word. People don't accept donations from them, they don't allow influence, they don't have meetings with them. But if we are to get the supply side right, this country is dependent upon those that develop properties, those that develop land, those that build buildings for this housing. And until we get supply side right, we will never get this housing problem right in Australia. We simply need to build more dwellings, we need to develop more land to put more people. That is the bottom line. And no government will be putting their money in this. It will be private investors, it will be mums and dads, it will be small business, it will be big investors, big property developers across Australia that do this. And by not having them in the conversation, we do a disservice. I do note in New South Wales, the Premier, a Labor Premier, I'll give him his credit, Chris Minns, is actually taking on some of these NIMBYs in some of the planning zones in inner city on public ways where there's transport lines and stuff like that. That is a good thing, but we need it to be bigger and better. The independent planning assessments and councils everywhere are fearful of what they do if they approve dwellings, if they approve land developments, if they approve subdivisions, and they shouldn't be, because what they are doing is they're depriving young families of houses. They are depriving mums and dads of getting a better house. They're depriving people of what we're trying to do here today, affordable housing, and they are driving up the prices by not approving these things. We can all take a laugh at Senator Faruqi here when everyone brings up development, we talk about a Port Macquarie thing. She created more dwellings for people. That is a good thing. I will meet with developers, I will talk to developers, because they are the answer to this. I asked my office to go through and look in the Hunter what might be around that we haven't seen there. They came with one called Kings Hill Development, at the urban release area. 3,500 lots, just 50 kilometres from me, in the Port Stephens area, Port Stephens Council. That would allow 10,000 residents to move in the next 10 years. 10,000. It's been held up for 12 years. And let me talk about the funding aspects of this. It has received $1.5 million from the HAF that we approved going there. But it's then $661,000, a Commonwealth grant from the local housing plan to redo it, that's stopped it. They've put 1.5 in to allowing something to happen, develop it, and 660 to a local housing plan that's taken it from 3,500 lots down to 700 lots and made it unviable. And this is what we get. A developer that comes to a place, correctly zoned land, goes through a process, 3,500 lots, that goes through the approval process, does it right, puts their money, $50 million so far they've put into this project to put these hands there, and it doesn't go ahead. And what is the cost? It means that we still have to house people. We put them somewhere. We just have to put them somewhere else because these people say, not in my backyard. So does Madawi get it? Does Wallalong get it? There's a claim that we're going to infill some ex-Housing Commission places in Raymond Terrace. I know Raymond Terrace. The Housing Commission places, they did them cheaply. There is no drainage. There are no sump pits. So a developer's going to buy 2 or 3 lots, go to do a DA, and see a bill for $150,000, $200,000, $300,000 for drainage and say, no, I can't do it. So we need to get more people involved in allowing these projects to happen, because if things like Kings Hill don't go ahead, that has the local Warramai people's approval, that has all the planning zones in the right zone, 3,500 homes. What happens to the missile development zone in the Aerospace Space Centre in Williamtown that was announced the other day if we can't put people there? If you can't put people near their jobs, if you can't put people near growth, if you can't give people hope, anything we pass in this House about who funds it is just giving comparative advantage in a worse market. We are creating more money and more cost for people by not opening up supply. We have to stop demonising the people that can help housing supply in Australia. We have to get them in the tent. We have to get people like Kings Hill Development out there building land so we can all have somewhere to live.
Senator Goodell, your time's expired.